been at the shelter for the longest time and would make just as great a pet. But
Oh,
because that dog was on TV and had this sad backstory that we all know, that's the one everyone's going to want.
correct, correct. They're going to go after the sad. I mean, there are a lot of sad stories there, and all the animals there should be adopted very quickly. Don't just go after the ones that were left in the totes. Don't just be sympathetic to the tote animals. Go after them all. We're not a big animal family. I just seem to everything that I grow, gosh, and kidding, including kids, I kind of like wilt and die.
Wow.
No,
Look
I
at
just
this
don't.
critique of your parenting skills.
No, I just don't do death very good. And you get really attached to a loved one and a little dog or a puppy, and then when they have to die, I do horrible. I can't deal with it. I really can't. That's a soft spot that I have, and I just say I'm gonna I can't do it. I can't do it at all.
Okay, well, it is true that when you get a pet, you are purchasing a guaranteed tragedy.
Oh, there's no doubt
However,
about it.
you have to live in the moment, Tommy, and enjoy all of the time before the tragedy happens.
That's true. That's true. You need to live in the moment. I don't disagree with that. It is sad though.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
Shout out to Sparky. It's 8:46. We're going to take a break here on Krause and Company, and when we come back, we'll start getting into some of the tech things that Tommy wanted to talk about today. You're listening to Krause and Company on WHBY.
Okay, we're live on YouTube. Looks like Facebook is protecting us. It's protecting your audience from.
Weekday mornings at 9, 2 and 5 p.m. Listen for that keyword. Then text that keyword to 88509. Your text could win you $250. Then on Fridays, your text.
I think I know what it was. I think I posted something about
Complete details and official contest rules at WHBY.
what is it? I posted something about
Plan your next camping getaway at Flanagan's Lake campsite
Epstein.
to a share
Oh.
with only a short
And
drive from the
it was
valley.
taken down because it was
And let's time at Flanagan's Pearl
people thought it was suicidal, so I took it. So it was taken down in community guidelines. Something from like 4 years ago.
restaurant. And you can also grab a brew and watch the crew on their big screen TV in the bar. Visit thorolakecampsite.com for more information. Because
Let's see, can we swap it around here? There we go.
One step, two step, three step, four. No, that is not a new set of enhancements. It's a reminder that now is the time to buy and start applying stocks in this four-step program from Parsons, A-Star Roasted Valley, A-Star Grove Appleton, and Cupertino A-Star Appleton and Bonanza. Four steps to cover the entire growing season and specific formulation for each part of the year. The stock program has a long history of helping lawns in the Fox Valley look their best. Combine the best products with the knowledgeable folks at Ace, and you have a winning combination that is sure to make you the envy of the neighborhood. Being trained directly by Scotts, your local Ace dealer can also help you with many other lawn and garden projects as well. Make 2022 the year to make your lawn the envy of the neighborhood.
So be sure to visit your neighbors locally at
Carson's Ace Hardware in Kaukauna.
Kitson File 8s in Appleton and Menasha, and Ace Hardware of Appleton.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware tools.
Shop Woodward Radio Group's big deals and save up to 30% every day on gift cards and certificates to local businesses featuring home and garden, automotive, gifts, food and beverage, services, travel, entertainment, and more. Check back often for our hot deal of the week featuring a deep discount of up to 50% off. Shop local and save today. Click on the big deals
long
button at
breaks.
WHBY.com.
On the show again today.
Online store
Are we
for
behind? Are we saying?
No, we're good.
Disney on Broadway's
5-minute break.
musical tour of Frozen is coming to the Fox Cities Performing Arts Center, and WHBY has your chance to win tickets to opening night. Go to WHBY.com, find the snow globe, and enter to win. Every time the snow globe moves, you have another chance to win tickets.
All right, so we're going to do the
Frozen that you
house getting hit by the golf balls, and then I'm going
Oh,
to
yeah, I
tell
saw
some
that.
stories of personal experience and people living on golf courses.
Worth of damages, emotional damages.
Yes.
Come on.
Thursday is on the way, and WHBY.
Okay, so we're streaming on YouTube, not Facebook.
Okay. But we're
Listen
live.
weekdays from 11 to 1 to Focus Fox Valley with Haley Tenpass for a chance to win a gift that any mom is sure to love. Mom's favorite things with North Star Mohican Casino, Trisha's Treasures, KK Sew and Vac, Palmas Pub, Nemus Southside Market, and WHBY.
The Cellar in Oshkosh offers everything you need to make beer, wine, cider, mead, and spirits. Stop in and learn from the experts. The Cellar offers homebrew ingredients like yeast, grains, hops, honey, and juice, along with kits to make, bottle, and put on tap all your favorite beverages. Need help? They have a large selection of how-to books. They also offer gift certificates. The Cellar at 465 North Washburn on the Frontage Road in Oshkosh. For hours to order online and for curbside pickup, visit thecellarhomebrew.com.
Forgot to drag in one of my new bumpers. So we'll go with one of the old ones. Welcome back to Krause and Company. Jonathan Krause, Tommy Clifford with you today here on WHBY. And we are going to get into a few of the things that Tommy found that he wanted to talk about. And I actually saw this myself over the weekend. And this is from Golf Week. As Boston Globe reported last week that a family, quote, terrorized by golf balls wins nearly $5 million from the neighboring country club. A family with 3 daughters, ages 2 to 5, sued Indian Pond Country Club in Kingston, Massachusetts, quote, for trespass over the continual bombardment and won a permanent injunction against golf balls on their property, end quote. The jury awarded the Tenchars $3.5 million for damages and mental and emotional suffering. Records indicate that with interest, the award now totals $4.9 million. Now, the Tenchars purchased their 3,000 square foot home in Indian Pond Estates on the South Shore for $750,000 in April of 2017. The golf course opened in 2001, so the golf course was there next to the house.
They knew it.
When they bought
knew what they were getting themselves into, yet they sued. I struggle with this one. I really do. This seems to be, like I live on College Avenue and I get to sue someone because of the street noise. That seems unfair. It really seems like I don't understand this at all. This doesn't make sense to me.
So many golf balls have hit their house over the past several years that all the windows have been shattered on the side that faces the golf course. They don't even replace them with glass anymore. They put in plexiglass. The Tenchars home sits on an elevated bank, putting the home in line with the 15th tee box. Here's Eric Tenchar, who owns the home, says, quote, we should have looked into chances our houses would be hit? Question? Probably, I don't know. We just fell in love with the house. It's our first house, end quote.
A $750,000 house is their starter home.
Efforts to contact the club apparently were met with no changes. To their credit, the family got an appraisal for putting up netting, quote, only to be told that a net couldn't be constructed high enough to keep the golf balls out. They bought what they thought was their dream house, and it became a nightmare for them, said Bob Galvin, their attorney. They couldn't do anything outside during the golf season. We never wanted a lawsuit. Nobody wants a lawsuit, says Athena Tenchar. We tried to go in civilly and work with them. We got some communication, but then it stopped. So story time with Jonathan.
Story time.
I have played rounds of golf at a course called Highland Ridge in Ashwaubenon. Not the highest quality golf course, but Highland Ridge. And their third hole plays along the backyards of several houses. And one day, playing with a friend of mine, Kevin, and I hit one that went a little astray to the right. Sometimes it happens. We, honest to goodness, cannot perfectly control our golf balls, even if we do get down to single handicaps. And it went into a neighboring yard by about 2.5 feet. So I'm out of bounds, penalized. We were not playing in a tournament, so I just tossed the ball down. I'm walking over there, and the gentleman who owned that yard sees me coming over, and he yells from his back porch as he's watching me approach, don't even blanking think about it. And I'm like, what? It's within arm's reach. Don't even blanking think about it.
Wow.
So I drop my ball, another ball, while the other one sits 2.5 feet into his yard. And I hit a shot. And I then decide, you know what? I'm just going to rake it back onto the golf course property.
Uh-oh.
So I reach across with my 7-iron He
Trespassing.
literally sprints. No, I didn't have to go onto his property. I could literally reach. My club was long enough. I was just going to knock the ball back
There's a
onto the
club
golf course
entered his
property. So the gentleman comes running, sprinting off of his back porch, covers about 30 feet, and kicks my club out of my hand. Fortunately, it stayed on the golf course property. Grabs the ball away and says, "What did I blinking tell you?"
Wow. He was feisty, wasn't he?
And yet he chose to live on a golf course. Chose to live on a golf course. I was already there. The course, again, built with the idea of people are going to live around it.
That's like if you live
Golf
next
course
to
living probably was on the sign.
I'm going to build next to a farm, but yet when the farm vapors come over into my yard, I'm going to sue you.
Exactly correct.
I mean, it's not like...
Man, who put up that farm over there that's been in the family for 6 generations?
You know, it's not like they're deliberately... Now, I do know people who will deliberately take windows out on people's property. I do know that. I mean, my grandfather's done it once or twice or 3 times.
With a golf ball?
We had a school in the back, and he would tee them off the home plate, and then he would put them into the gym window.
Interesting.
It happened. I know it did. But at the end of the day, these people knew what they were getting themselves into.
Absolutely.
This seems like an abusive amount of money. You know, they throw around the words traumatized, mental and emotional suffering.
Distress, yes.
Mental suffering because we built our house close
But it
to
was built. They ended up buying it.
excuse me, we bought a house that was right on the golf course. What did they expect to happen? It seems like the sense of reason's gone here. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it.
In the meantime, the country club has reconfigured the tee box for the 15th hole, and the Tenchars say it has been months since they've seen a golf ball on their property.
So they could have done that to begin with.
However, the legal process was already underway, and they're still getting their cash.
We'll see. But aren't they appealing it?
Oh, I'm sure the country club will appeal it, yes.
I need to go into a safe space. Between this and Twitter, I don't know what to do. I'm going to start crying.
All right. So, I actually have multiple stories. I'm not the one who hit the ball into other private properties, but I have some other stories.
Oh, I'm
as
sure
well
you have lots
to
of
tell,
golf
yes.
stories, lots of interaction with happy, jovial people that bring out
Yes.
the best of you.
Yes. And was always handled in a classy manner by everyone involved.
Don't effing touch this.
Yeah.
Wow, that's rough. That's totally rough. Why would people do that? Why are they so mean? People can be really mean, bitter.
And
hurtful.
it was about 8:30 in the morning, so it wasn't even like a lot of stuff had happened to him, so he was having a really bad day. It was 8:30, and he just decided he was going to be a male body part.
a pill.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we will delve into Elon Musk and Twitter and what it'll mean for end users, maybe in the future. It's Krause and Company here on WHBY.
Own an acre or 100, there's always a job that would be easier with a Branson tractor. From 22 to 58 horsepower, Branson has a model you need to get the job done right. With dependable service and your comfort in mind, you'll find that Fox Valley Truck has the Branson compact tractor that fits your job and your budget. Branson Tractors, red, rugged, and reliable. Fox Valley Truck in Appleton and Shawnee. Check out our full line of in-stock Branson tractors.
I'll
and
answer it.
multiple lines of implement online.
WHBY, this is Jonathan. Okay.
Woodward Radio Group's big deals and save up to 30% every day on gift cards and certificates
Across
to
the
local
street.
businesses featuring home and garden.
Okay.
Gifts,
Yeah.
food and beverage, services, travel, entertainment, and more. Check back often for our hot deal of the week, featuring a deep discount
Okay.
of up to 50% off. Shop local and save today. Click on the big deal.
You cannot.
At WHBY.com. Exclusions apply. See online store for details.
All right. Actually, I'll mention that on the air. Appreciate the feedback.
A great way to get your
All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye. All right. So she lives here in Appleton, and they built a ball diamond in the park across the street and put lights on it.
And give you more miles of smiles. Get the rate bite that'll last.
So that was
from Men's
afterwards,
Market
wasn't
in Oshkosh and
It was she had the house, and then they put the ball diamond.
Here's Here's another keyword for cash from WHBY and Prospero Credit Union. Text BIRD to 88509. That's BIRD to 88509. Good luck.
1150 WHBY, Kimberly, Appleton, Fox Cities, and W278AU, Appleton, an employee-owned and operated Woodward Radio Group station.
Oops. I turned your mic on instead of the
I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
I came
CBS
to
News.
Moscow as a messenger of peace.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is planning to meet with Vladimir Putin today to discuss the possibility of a ceasefire in Ukraine.
Thousands of civilians are in dire need of life-saving humanitarian assistance and many an evacuation.
Russia's foreign minister Sergei Lavrov is warning Ukraine not to provoke a World War III as his country continues to pound targets across the border. Correspondent Charlie D'Agata is in Ukraine.
The Russian military says it struck 90 targets overnight, killing 500 Ukrainian soldiers and destroying dozens of vehicles. That can't be independently verified, but it's clear that fighting has intensified along the front line.
The Supreme Court is set to begin hearing arguments this hour over President Biden's bid to suspend a Trump-era policy requiring asylum seekers to wait in Mexico while their cases are considered. It was reinstated a few months ago after a federal judge ruled the Biden administration didn't shut it down properly. The White House wants to make the COVID pill Paxlovid available to more people by posting locations for pharmacies that offer both testing and treatment. CBS's Dr. David Agus.
To me, it's game-changing. I have seen patients of mine who, when I put them on Paxlovid, literally a day later, they feel dramatically different.
Studies show Paxlovid reduces the risk of hospitalization and death by 90%. President Biden has granted the first 3 pardons of his term. One provides clemency to an 86-year-old Kennedy-era Secret Service agent who was convicted of federal bribery charges. Twitter shares down almost 2% a day after the company agreed to Elon Musk's $44 billion takeover bid. People who know Musk are divided about what his ownership would mean.
Former Trade News Chief Vivian Schiller says Elon Musk's purchase fills her with existential dread.
I think it's the appropriate term.
She fears this self-described free speech absolutist won't differentiate between free speech and hate speech on the platform, but Musk buddies and
Existential
Twitter
dread.
investor Ross Gerber
Yeah.
says Musk will save American democracy from the bots.
Manipulation on social media has got to stop, and Elon's already come up with some great ideas to stop it.
Both can't be right, can they? Vicki Barker, CBS News.
Lots of college students are caught between a rock and a hard place when it comes to finding somewhere to live.
Hubble Space Telescope launched 32 years ago today.
The price they charge, we will inevitably have to pay it.
New study finds rising rents and lack of affordable housing in college
Existential
towns are keeping more young
dread.
people away
Yep.
from higher education. Some
Boy.
say they're forced to live
Over
in
a
their
social media
cars
platform.
or on other
Yep.
people's couches. This is CBS News.
There's always something new under the sun. CBS Mornings, weekdays on CBS.
Existential dread.
Now at Menards, save big money on your next project with 11% off everything. Novik stacked stone siding panels replicate the natural hand-laid look of stacked stone masonry at a fraction of the cost. And they're easy to install. Start your next project today and get 11% off. Novik stacked stone siding panels. Good through April 30th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Sure, I'm a kid, but I'm smart enough to know that when it comes to home heating and cooling, we always call Better Home Heating and Cooling because we're the training comfort specialist and Mitsubishi Douglas dealer in the Fox Valley. Call today and learn about special incentives on Trane and Mitsubishi equipment. Plus, spring maintenance special pricing if you call before May 31st. Better products, better people, Better Home Heating and Cooling, a division of Central Temperature. Visit betterhomeheatingandair.com today. We did.
Here's the latest from the WHBY Omni Glass and Paint News Center.
Good morning, it's 9:04. I'm Carol Patrizi. News is brought to you by Hooper Law Office. Green Bay police say the couple found dead at a West Side home were not living together. A 911 call brought officers to the 800 block of 3rd Street in the Tank Park neighborhood yesterday morning around 8. 2 children were unharmed and were removed from the home and placed with other relatives. A woman who lives in the neighborhood says she was told by officers there isn't a threat to the public.
They went into the house, kept coming walking in and out. At a
This is
certain
a great
point, we
statistic.
saw,
If you had $1 billion
detectives
and you
coming
invested in a
into
10-year
suits,
treasury
cameras set
bond,
up, they were going in,
getting
taking
about
live
3% a
photos.
year,
Police Chief Chris
you'd make
Davis
about
says a
$3,500
tragedy
an
like this
hour.
impacts the
So
entire
spending
community.
$1,000
He
an
advises
hour
people experiencing domestic violence to
actually
seek
has your
help.
investment
He says more
grow.
resources are available. The Old Glory Honor
my
Club
gosh.
reaches a new milestone today. Executive Director Diane McDonald tells Jonathan Krause on Krause and Company that Mission 56 features their 5,000th veteran.
Well, I can't believe it. You know,
There we
we're
go.
gonna have
Now I
our
figured out why they
5,000th
keep dropping my
war
new
veteran,
bumpers.
56, which is quite an accomplishment.
Why do they keep dropping your new bumpers?
Because I'm not saving the pallet.
13 years later, here we are.
But I figured it out now.
Rocking it in the Appleton and Northeast Wisconsin area.
Today's
What new
flight
bumpers
from
we got? We
Hamilton
got some-
International Airport
Oh,
to
you'll never
Washington,
know.
D.C.
I'm gonna miss Peter
Military
Gabriel.
vets from World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War.
Unless you are a fan of
Cases coronavirus
Tool,
in Wisconsin is back up over
Radiohead,
1,000 for the first time since
Muse,
February 21st.
No.
State Department of Health Services reports
Perfect Circle.
779 positive tests.
So you don't
since
have,
Friday. That pushes the 7-day average to 1,071. Positivity rate also increased.
You don't have
from
the Trooper
7%
as one of
last
our
week
bumper
to
incoming bumpers.
8.2% this
Yeah.
week, and that's the highest that number has been since February 16th. There were 2 more deaths reported on Monday. Krause and Company continues. I'm Carol Patrizzi, WHBY News.
Do you want to protect your family? Do you want to maintain control of your health and finances? Join the attorneys at Hooper Law Office for a free, interactive, educational webinar series from the comfort of your own home. Inspired by their popular Wills versus Trust seminars,
Corvette
this series
EV
gives
officially
participants the
confirmed.
opportunity to
Oh
ask
my
questions and learn about the aspects of estate planning and long-term
There
care
it is.
planning that they're most interested in.
Wow.
The next
1,000
session will take
horsepower.
place at noon on Wednesday, April
That'll kick
27th.
some ass.
The topic of this session is the Secure Act in your estate plan. Register at estateplanninglive.com. All registered participants will receive complimentary educational materials and have an opportunity to ask questions during the session. Register today. The first 50 registrants will receive a free copy of Hooper Law Office's book, Your Life, Your Legacy 2, Protecting Those You Love. Register today at estateplanninglive.com.
Now,
Here's on this date.
WHBY.
In 2011, I was enjoying the exploits of Miroslav Satan, a Bruins player whose last name is Satan, S-A-T-A-N, but it's pronounced Shatan.
Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a cool and brisk Wednesday with a high of 47. From the WBAY First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Steve Balo.
All right, thanks, Steve. Right now it is cloudy and 34 at the Myron Construction Studio at WHBY.
Commercial mower you need. See Evergreen Power in Leeson. Hey, it's Brian Bush. When you think commercial mowers, think Exmark mowers from Evergreen Power. They have models for every application, including walk behind, stand on, zero turn, and aerators. But if you want the model of your choice, shop early. Mowers will be in short supply later this season. Stop in and talk to JoJo or Ken, our commercial mower gurus. Evergreen Power, home of the money-back guarantee. Highway 41 and N in Little Chute.
Plan your next camping getaway at Flanagan's Pearl Lake Campsite in Washera County. With only a short drive from the valley, you can spend more time camping and less time driving. At Flanagan's Pearl Lake Campsites, they offer a terrific camping experience with a well-maintained campground, swimming pond, and beach arcade.
You tell the nightmare story of my friend Joe's wife and his son who decided they were going to drive to the Redwoods without any kind of long-range plan for, hotel stops and stuff like that, and the exact route they were going to take. So, wow. And it required a rescue in the National Forest in Montana. Krause and Company is brought to you by Hooper Law Office. Find their offices in Appleton, Green Bay, and Oshkosh, or online at hooperlawoffice.com. For your elder law and estate planning needs, Hooper Law Office, providing a pathway to your legacy. Jonathan Krause and Tommy Clifford, a Tuesdays with Tommy edition of Krause and Company, although we're going to miss you next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, I'll be in Dallas, Texas.
What's
on
the
my
conference
way.
about?
It is a CRM, an ad agency conference I'm going down
Okay.
to. It'll be enthralling. It'll be totally enthralling. I will miss you.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was some kind of like a tech nerd thing.
Well,
Comic Con.
there'll definitely be tech nerdy people there, but it's not as tech nerdy as I want it to be. It'll be fun though. It'll be totally enjoyable. I'm staying at an Airbnb. I'm not the hotel that they had a hotel block. It was all like sold out within like hours of the conference being announced, which is kind of weird.
But that's where the wild after hours parties are going to be held, Tommy. You're going to miss out by being at your Airbnb.
I promise you, I'm not going to miss out, and I will. My immune system is going to be in full tilt. I'll be ready for all the mayhem to be had.
Mayhem. That is an actual criminal charge in Wisconsin. Mayhem. It's a felony.
Felony mayhem.
Yes.
I'm not sure what you have to do to get that. I don't want it though. I don't want that badge.
It's common for those who are inciting riots, if you will. They get charged with mayhem.
Oh, okay. So I'm definitely not a good riot starter.
Quick follow-up on the feature that we just had about the family in Massachusetts that sued the adjoining country club for golf balls going into their yard and hitting their house. I had a listener give me a call during the break here at the top of the hour to say that she's had the opposite happen to her. It was sort of the opposite, where she bought a house across the street from a park, and then the city decided to put in a lighted ball diamond right across the street. So now the lights shine into her house, and she has people cheering well into the night.
Oh, so now she's got room to complain.
Sue the city?
Well, there was probably a discussion point. There was probably an opportunity to sound off on that before that happened. Cheering late at night. There happens to be, I'm sure there's a noise ordinance. I don't know anything. Why would there not be a noise ordinance?
That kicks in at 10 o'clock at night, though. Games are done by then.
I don't know. I don't know what she could do. I really don't. I mean, if you don't like, I mean, it's kind of like if you have a next door neighbor that you don't like, you can call the police, but it's the city, so nothing's going to happen.
Well, they need to be doing something that's not acceptable.
Correct.
To call the police.
Correct.
You can't just call up and say the guy next to me is a jerk.
I mean, is she getting, fast pitch balls, put into her windows, or it dents on the cars, those type of things? Then she's got a room to complain. But if there's a game and it's loud, but then it's done at 10 o'clock, I think it's too bad, so sad. Love Dad.
We have the guy across the street. He's a young guy, and his house is the young guy hangout.
Sure.
For all of his young guy friends who probably still live at home.
Yep.
So their driveway full of vehicles all the time, and then their friends all park on the street up and down in front of all the houses in the neighborhood. And he likes to leave his snowmobile and boat trailer out in the street, so that all the friends can come in and out without him having to juggle all the vehicle placements and stuff. So yeah.
Well, I'm sure you could call the city and they would ticket.
No, I went over and had a little conversation because he was leaving the snowmobile trailer in the street during the winter.
Yes.
And then the plow would come around and plow around the trailer.
Correct.
So you had a cleared street except for this gigantic pile of snow and ice in the middle of that'd be southbound lane.
Right.
And of course that wouldn't melt, so you had to dodge that all the time.
Well,
but I went over and had a little conversation.
Is there no ordinance about having things out, like in Appleton, you get a ticket if there's something on the street?
Yes, there is supposed to be. I mean, on my route to work, I drive by an apartment complex, and someone always has a trailer full of junk, not hooked up to a vehicle, parked on the curb. Right now, it's filled with about 50 bicycles.
Interesting.
Sometimes it's scrap metal, sometimes it's old washers and refrigerators.
Right.
And I don't think someone's just collecting that for fun.
Tell people to police themselves, but sometimes they have to.
Well, okay, here's how you police that. You hook it up to your own vehicle and haul it off somewhere.
Okay, so now you've broken. Now you've taken a situation that somebody else is in problem. Now you've taken somebody else's stuff and you've broken the law.
Vigilantism, Tommy.
Oh,
Vigilantism.
Okay, Bernie Getz. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, it's the equalizer.
This isn't going to end.
Taking the law into my own hands.
Ugh.
When the law fails the people, it's time to take the law into your own hands. The Equalizer. Oh. I think that was the original Equalizer. I don't know if they're doing that same kind of talk with Queen Latifah now.
Or you can be like the Punisher. You're gonna be like the Punisher. You're gonna come in and right all the wrongs that were done against you.
Correct.
Here's all the golf balls that sailed into your yard. That guy was really salty towards you, though. He was really mean.
Again, it's not the first incident, and it's not the only incident.
Why are people so salty?
Mascoutin Golf Course. There was a woman who was literally videotaping us and saying, I'm sending this back to the clubhouse. So I went preemptive. I called the clubhouse. I said, there is a crazy woman out here on blue number 4 who is verbally harassing the golfers that are coming by. And the guy's like, yeah, we know who that is. There you go.
There's a Karen everywhere. And what was she thinking you were doing? By playing the game, are you causing problems?
We hit a ball over by her house.
Over by it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Karen.
And then what was the other one? Oh, Highcliffe Golf Course.
Sure.
There are condos that back up along the new 18th hole.
Yes.
And a guy in my group hit one over there. And after a yelling match with the guy sitting on the back porch of his condo, the guy who hit the ball in there drove his cart into the yard to go get it, which was a form of escalation.
Oh, geez Louise. You don't want to escalate things. Don't escalate. You want to de-escalate. You want to calm people down. You don't want to get them all testy and get them all jacked up.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that. I did ask, the original story I told, I did ask the guy if he could just come over then and toss me the ball. And he refused to do that as well.
So clearly, you were just an agitation point. He wasn't really mad at you. He was mad at a global situation. Because there's no way anyone could be mad at you.
Yeah.
No, it's impossible.
No, there's no way.
You're too nice. You're too nice and just very, very kind. You're soothing. Too nice and soothing.
Tommy, obviously not here every day on Crossing Company. He only sees me when I put him on my best face. Okay, so let's completely change topics here and switch over to Elon Musk and Twitter. This is going to be a multi-segment.
This is so wonderful.
Multi-segment deal here. And also, it's going to be the focus of my 2 cents as well. Why the left hates Elon Musk. But let's talk first about the mechanics of this. Twitter, up until this point, was a publicly traded company. And their public face, if you will, although he wasn't really out in front that much, was Jack Dorsey.
Correct.
So what was Jack Dorsey's role here in Twitter, getting off the ground?
Well, I mean, he was the brainchild. He helped develop it. I mean, this is back in the day. I mean, we're going all the way back 2006, 2007. I think he helped code it. I mean, he helped write Twitter code. I mean, I think him and his buddies were at home, having some liquid refreshments, throwing around a baseball and stuff. Oh, let's name it this. So, I mean, this is his brainchild. This went back and this was back before I think he kind of went off the rails and acted kind of goofy. But so this was his brainchild, and now he was CEO, then he wasn't CEO, then he was CEO again. Kind of brought in. He's got the great Twitter name Jack, @Jack.
Yep, he was the first one, so he got to pick what he wanted.
Correct.
Jack.
Correct. And I actually have a fun one. @tommytrc is my Twitter. Are you on Twitter? Do you have a Twitter handle?
Of course. It's John Krause 77, JONKRAUSE 77.
77.
After Ray Bork, number 77 from Boston Bruins.
Oh, so it wasn't like 1977, like
Nope.
a big year or something?
No, I was born in 72.
Okay, there you have it.
Turned 50 this year if anyone's buying gifts.
Oh, gifts. Gift cards accepted. Amazon gift cards, anything in...
Yeah, then you're getting into another hated rich guy territory. All right, but Twitter was initially a private company, right?
Correct.
And then they went public.
They went
offered
public
initial stock
to
offering.
get money to financing, because they had to grow. You had to buy servers, you had to buy infrastructure, storage, modems for all the. You had to have all the stuff. You had to have it all, and then so it's a public company. People own it. There's stock. They're trying to figure out how to generate ad revenue, how to balance this and that, and then Twitter kind of became almost like a utility. People were you'd use it, and then there was people who say, well, wait a minute, you can't say that on this platform. Well, why can't I say this on this platform? Well, it's a public company. We can say whatever you want to say on this platform. Well, no, it's a public company. You should be civilly responsible, whatever that means. Okay, so then there was a gentleman that some people liked and some people didn't like, and he said some potentially mean things and was all known about the meanness that he had, and people didn't like it, and he got banned. He got his account banned.
So that was like the second user of Twitter. I know who you're referring to, but to say that he was the first mean person on Twitter,
No. There's lots of mean.
Is not
people.
close to correct.
No,
and that's
no.
why I thought user number 2, Jack probably had a post, and then immediately underneath was what we call a blank post, dissing whatever Jack had posted on the first ever Twitter post. Which, by the way, I believe you can purchase as an NFT, can't you? The first Twitter
yes,
post.
you could post.
Yes.
You could buy the first Twitter post as an NFT. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story. You can purchase my first Twitter post. I think back from the library or something. It was something very insightful and witful back in I think 2007. But neither here nor there. So Twitter is very divided. Very divided. There's people who think, okay, banning President Trump from being able to tweet was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and then there's a whole nother group that says that's terrible. Okay. So now, fast forward, Elon Musk has made some comments. Elon Musk is one of those people that if he tweets about something, he tweets about Bitcoin skyrockets. He doesn't tweet about something, and people think he's supposed to tweet about something, then it will go down. I mean, it's kind of crazy what
we've discussed this. He is actually a social media influencer because what he
influences a lot.
Talks about, repost, whatever, has an actual immediate market effect.
Yes.
As opposed to someone who does a review of the coffee they got at Starbucks this morning, thinking they're a social media influencer.
Yeah, he's a real influencer, not like a micro influencer.
Influencing 14 followers, is that what you're saying?
That's correct. That's
so micro.
He's an influencer, and he joked about should I buy Twitter? Yes or no? Sent out some surveys. Should we do this? Should we do that? So people started to get excited, and then he put in an offer, and then Twitter used the poison pill to dilute the shares so that he couldn't have control. Okay, and we thought that was going to be the end of it, but that wasn't the end of it, and I think that there were some people who were rather upset. Well, wait a minute, I just had like 1% of Twitter, now it's been diluted, so now I have this. So the poison pill works both ways.
It does.
It protects you, quote unquote, protects you from, Mr. Bad Guy taking over, but then everybody else, well, wait a minute, I don't have as much buying power as I did previously. And I think that got the best of them, and they have accepted Elon Musk's offer.
Yeah.
$44 billion with a B. That's a lot of scratch. It's a lot of golf balls in my window, that's for sure. I could take a lot of golf balls for $44 million.
I'm guessing you could purchase probably 20 Fortune 500 companies for the same amount that make a lot more money than Twitter does.
There's countries that don't have GDPs at $44 billion. It's ridiculous. I mean, that amount of money, it's hard to put your head around how big that is.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the potential impact to users of Twitter and stuff. Some of the things that Elon Musk has talked about wanting to add it to the platform. That's next on Crossing Company.
Isn't going away anytime soon. As the cost of everything from food to vacations to your electric bill rises, you may be wondering if your retirement plans are still on track. Inflation is a silent wealth killer. You won't hear an alarm when prices rise, but you might feel alarm as you try to plan your future. It's also one of the top reasons 80% of Americans are feeling stressed about their finances. Annex Wealth Management can help. It starts at annexwealth.com. Click the Get Started button. From there, Annex Wealth Management's in-house team of planners will prepare
In the mail, I think it's a Valpak mailer, or maybe the coupon magazine that comes to your house. Festival always had the save 5% on $75 purchase.
Yep.
And it would never fail. I would go out and do my regular shopping, and it would come to 72 something or other. So I could use coupons. Now I buy less, and I'm having no problem reaching the $75 weekly coupon.
Delicious Treasures in downtown Neenah offers on-trend clothing for all ages, along with fashion jewelry, shoes, candles, home decor, and many unique gift items, a great selection of seasonal decor as well. Trisha's Treasures is exactly that, a real treasure. Located at 121 West Wisconsin Avenue in Neenah, why shop the ordinary
So,
when you can shop the
Amy
extraordinary?
Albright from
Shop Trisha's
Oshkosh
Treasures
CBB
at all three of our
got back to me and
locations,
she was good to go. And she's like,
Crandon, and
hopefully we're talking about the Johnny Depp trial. Said no, we will not. What a clown show that has been. Holy cow. I am not watching it, but I'm being told about it by people who watched it.
I haven't watched it
Hilarious.
once, and all I know is I see memes and I see him sitting on the stand reading stuff, and
Yes.
it sounds like it's just dirty laundry personified.
Yes.
You will love this store. Stop swatting mosquitoes. Start making memories. Give my friends Mike and Deanna a call at 766-5300 or UnitedRainer.com.
The interesting thing is that it is a defamation lawsuit. And she, you know, gave all this information, blah, 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 and defamed me. And now, in a public setting, he himself is reciting the very same allegations in public. So he's basically defaming himself.
Disney's Frozen at the Fox Cities PAC May 17th through the 29th with WHBY.
Well, the sign of a smart person is not opening up the books and then incriminating yourself. Doesn't mean.
Well, you had to take a stand.
He just looks like an idiot. He should just keep to doing movies and stop being a tool.
He was asked a yes or no question. He went on like a 4-minute soliloquy. Mr. Depp, you haven't answered the question. I was answering the question.
Breakfast with a better biscuit. Our hot buttery breakfast biscuits are loaded with a fresh cracked egg, cheese, and your choice of bacon or sausage. And right now at Wendy's, they're only $1 each. So don't take a chance with those other guys. Bet your buck on a better breakfast with Wendy's bacon or sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Limited time only. Participating Wendy's offer only applies to bacon, sausage, egg, and cheese biscuits. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction and per person per day. Not only combo.
From the kennel to the coop, whatever the season, Fleet Farm has everything to keep your animals happy and healthy. From training your pup to sit season, to mastering those retrieval skills season. From clipping birds to competition season, to keeping the backyard birds well-fed season. And of course, loving your pets like family season. There's a reason people say, if Fleet Farm doesn't...
Oh, Krispy Kreme and Cinnamon Toast Crunch have teamed up.
No.
Yes. Disney on Broadway's musical tour of Frozen is coming to the Fox Cities Performing Arts Center May 17th through the 29th. WHBY has your chance to win tickets. Head to WHBY.com, find the snow globe, and enter to win. Every time you find the snow globe and enter, you have another chance to win tickets. Good luck for the Fox Cities PAC and WHBY. By the way, a little clue for you today. You'll find the snow globe on the part of the site where you would be able to catch up on what Haley Tenpass had on her show yesterday or today. So there is your hint to find the snow globe to go and see Frozen.
Ooh, that's kind of fun. I love Frozen.
Tommy Clifford joining us here today. It's Tuesdays with Tommy on Kraus and Company on WHBY. And we're talking about Elon Musk having his offer to purchase Twitter accepted by the board of directors and now will move forward pending SEC approval. And I don't know if there will be any feds stepping in to say, no, we aren't a fan of this. But I saw this morning that Jack Dorsey, who we have mentioned as the guy who founded Twitter, is endorsing this move.
He endorsed the move.
Saying that he believes that this is the best path forward for the website.
Which is interesting. Very interesting. The best path forward. You know, that seems like a company line to me, but I don't know I don't know what's going on in their mind. I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of going on behind the scenes on this that we don't know. And I'm sure there'll be books written that will tell us this whole thing. But if Jack's endorsing it, hopefully that will keep everybody happy in their safe space. But boy, there's a lot of unhappy people.
All right, so let's talk about some of the changes that Elon Musk could make and has hinted at making on Twitter, and some of that, his entire thing, he's been talking about the purchase, is that he sees the Twitter platform as what should be the model for free speech in America.
Correct.
And making references to First Amendment rights and stuff like that. Now, I'm not going to get into the fact that the First Amendment only limits the government from keeping you from exercising said individual rights.
Correct.
And not a private company like Twitter, who will now be headed up by Elon Musk. But do you see him making drastic changes to the terms of service by which the company up to this point has been using as the basis to ban people from using it?
I do see them making drastic changes to the terms of service, because right now, the terms of service is based on, the winds of change, whatever you think. There's no standardization. If you look at the amount of people who have been banned, and you look at what side of the aisle those people are on, it seems that there's a disproportionate amount of people that have been banned from one side than the other. And I think that that is going to change. I think that the rationale behind it, I think that there's a lot of quote unquote fact checking and posts being taken down and things of that nature. Normally water seeks its own level. We don't need help. But, thanks to Mark Zuckerberg, we've been given help. And I'm thankful for those fact checkers protecting us. There's a lot of people right now, I guess I've been fact checked. It comes to find out that some post I posted back in 2009 about Jeffrey Epstein is causing it, so I can no longer, so I'm banned for like 30 days from Facebook Live. So you guys are protected, and I appreciate that. I'm excited that you guys are protected.
Again, it was my hate speech. Sorry about that.
And right now everybody's upset. Everybody, oh my gosh, it's so many people upset. It was just great. As soon as I got the news, I went onto Twitter and I just watched the weeping and wailing and the gnashing of teeth. Is it going to be just like a grand mal overhaul change? No, it's not. But is people are on notice now. People are on notice that, what you say, you should be able to say whatever you want to say. And there's people who says, well, you don't have the right to say it, or they should be blocked. Well, wait a minute. You can't, the tolerance door has to swing both ways. It can't go just one way and then stop swinging. So if you're free to say what you want to say, just because I say something that you don't agree with doesn't make it wrong. And that's what people need to understand and get through their skulls. And I think that it's going to be interesting. I mean, I can't wait till see what Bill Maher has to say on the topic, because I know that he's always very fruitful and very colorful on what's going to happen.
I don't know if he's the biggest Elon Musk fan. And
No.
When I get to my 2 cents, I'm going to talk about what colors perception of Elon Musk within, especially American society.
Right.
But we don't want to go there yet. That's a tease. Coming up
Very good
at the end of
tease.
the show.
Your 2 cents are always awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, let's not conflate the Twitter terms of service with the First Amendment.
Correct.
They are completely different things. It is
Correct.
a private company, and it is no different than 7-Eleven putting the sign on their door, no shoes, no shirt, no service.
Correct.
They are setting the law for their business. And the terms of service were the Twitter law. Now they became a bit more particular and aggressive in using their terms of service.
Yes.
After both Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg were called before congressional platforms, congressional committees, to testify as to how they are enforcing their terms of service, and if maybe the government should step in and help them enforce their terms of service.
Right.
Because the main complaint there was it's full of disinformation.
And see, here you go. How am I to describe what piece of information is considered disinformation? Because it goes against your line of thinking, does that mean it's disinformation? If someone says, well, I don't even know, Nolan Ryan had the fastest fastball. You go, well, no, that's not true. That's disinformation. Does that mean
Well, Raldis Chapman was clocked at 104. How can you say that? Yes.
Should I get banned for that? Should I be banned for that? And do I get a community guideline strike because I said that Reggie Jackson was the greatest, World Series home run hitter of all time. Well, that's a community guidelines. Well, whose community? What community? There seems to be an arbitrary group of people that are saying, I don't like that, you don't like that. It's almost like who screams the loudest gets heard the most, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. That's so counterproductive to the situation.
Being a free market person, I am okay with the terms of service that Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and everybody have put in place, because the internet is out there for everyone.
Correct.
And you can start your own social media platform and you can have whatever terms of service you want. And many of them have tried and nearly all have failed.
You're absolutely 100% correct. And it just goes to the adage, just because you can CNN Plus doesn't mean you should.
We're going to touch on that.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about that $300 million bloodbath. And, you're right. And it kind of goes back to the water seeks its own level. And, you're right. If you want to have your own ecosystem, that's fine. But Twitter is no fun if all it has is left-handed people. It's no fun with only the people that have seeing eye dogs. It's no fun. What makes it fun is how everybody comes together. You have this biggest, it's amazing how you can kind of look at a community and you can see what people are saying instantaneously. You can follow a hashtag. You can watch the Grammys. You can see the thumbs up, the thumbs down, people, booing the dresses, loving the dresses, the whole 9 yards. It's fantastic to watch the masses come together. But boy, the attack mob mentality is brutal. And people, just sit in their parents' basement with a tank top on and smoking a cigarette and will spew the most hateful stuff. And that is not the fun part of Twitter. The fun part of Twitter is watching everybody kind of come together and sound off and have a little voice.
But here's the problem. You have just said that they are spewing hateful stuff. And there might be someone else on Twitter who says, dude, I've been waiting for someone to say this forever. And I'm glad he has this platform to finally say it. And now you've come to the basic crux of the issue. And when it is a private entity, the people who oversee the private entity, they get to choose.
Well, the people
which voices will be allowed on the platform.
Well, to be fair, it was a public entity and they chose. So what does making it private, how does that change it?
No, it was not a public entity. The company itself was publicly traded. However, it is not a branch of the government.
You're right. It's not a utility. It's not like We Energies. You're right. We Energies can't pick who gets gas and who doesn't get gas.
Correct.
Everybody
unless
gets
you don't
gas.
pay.
Correct. Unless you don't pay. But it's like it's like and as soon as and I know there's some people who wanted to make Twitter like a utility, and I'm not sure that's the right answer either.
Because again, the reason we have utilities is because it would not make any sense financially, environmentally.
Correct. You don't want thousands of gas lines.
WPS and We Energies and Kakani Utilities and Menasha Utilities to all be building their own transmission lines.
Correct.
In everyone's neighborhood. Same thing with all the phone companies.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Same thing. Yeah.
You're right.
Same thing with water lines.
We got fiber optic cable going in now, but it's one fiber optic cable and lots of other people can use it.
Yes.
Yeah, I get that.
That's why we have utilities.
Yes.
Because it makes no sense to have 53 power lines all running to different houses because you're getting your power from a different company.
Correct.
And then that is regulated. Why don't we take a break? Because I think we're getting far afield here. I want to bring everything back.
Fair enough.
So we'll bring it back to the actual app again and what changes we might see to the app. That's coming up next on Krause and Company.
It's a far-reaching discussion. It really is. Because you're right, you can't have it both ways. Either one way or the other. You can't have it both ways.
Because if you are going to say that Twitter is a utility, then you are not. Then there cannot be any further competing social media platforms like that.
Okay, I see it. I see what you're talking about.
For 50 years, our famous blue envelope has been helping small businesses in your neighborhood grow and customers like you save.
Hey, that's awesome. We're still on fresh cake.
There's only one thing better than a
This
good
fresh
round
cake.
of golf.
I can't change that. So.
With the 2022 Valpak Golf Guide.
Can't or don't know how.
Check your mailbox for the blue Valpak
Doesn't want to.
envelope with this year's golf guide that is full of great deals on rounds of golf, golf lessons, and equipment. It's the Valpak Golf Guide coming to your mailbox soon.
Discover great local deals like these and more every time you Valpak. Plus, you can win $100 right inside your blue Valpak envelope just for opening. That's $100, no strings attached. Who knew saving money could mean winning money too? Look for your Valpak envelope in the mail and uncomplicate the way you save.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
I should have sent you the same Atlantic article that I sent to the professors before their last appearance. And
at ZipRecruiter.com/free.
it was basically the premise that yes, the last 10 years have been among the stupidest in human history. And he starts off talking about the Tower of Babel and how, humans got this hubris, thought they could build a tower and see God in heaven. So then, of course, he created all the languages so they could no longer communicate with each other. And it was his point that social media has done the same thing to society, where we can no longer communicate with each other, even though we have this incredible communications device. Because we don't even speak the same language anymore.
Sure, I'm a kid,
You're
but I'm
right.
smart enough to know that when it comes to home eating and cooling,
and
we always call
we
better
can't
home
agree
eating
on
because
words
we're
like
a chain
violence.
covered specialist and Mitsubishi Douglas dealer in the Fox Valley. Call today and learn
Correct,
about
because
special
me
incentives
telling
on
you
trade
that
and Mitsubishi equipment.
your
Plus,
opinion is
we give
100%
special
wrong
pricing if
is
you
me
call
being
from
violent
Maytag
to you.
First. Better products, better people, better home eating and cooling. A division
Because
of
words are violence.
If you don't use my proper pronouns, that's
That's violence, yes.
If you've ever ordered food for work,
There was a professor at some, I think, Ohio or Pennsylvania college that sued because he was, he had tenure, so they couldn't fire him, but steps were taken against him after he would not use a student's pronoun and continued to call that student by their last name.
Yep, I saw that.
thank you for calling Easy Cater. Some food just doesn't work at work, but Easy
Makes no
Cater
sense
just
whatsoever,
does.
does it?
Order 24/7 at easycater.com.
Spring is in the air at Simple Simon Bakery at 218 East Wisconsin Avenue in Appleton, and it's worth celebrating. Enjoy Simple Simon's huge selection of specialty cupcake flavors.
So that's something we're going to see in the future. We're going to see a lot of colleges get sued, and we're going to see how much of a financial stake they want to place in catering to
Order online, pick up in store.
the offended
Remember
few.
Simple Simons for all your special treats, springtime and every time. Spring and Simple Simon Bakery. That's
Because that
sweet.
bakery in Oberlin, Ohio, final decision came down, they're getting their $33 million.
The bakery or the people who sued him?
The bakery. Who sued the college. Kraus & Company is brought to you by Hooper Law Office. Call Peter Harbach and Sarah Kahns at 920-250-9959 for your elder law and estate planning needs. Hooper Law Office, providing a pathway to your legacy. Sign up for their free weekly seminars via video conference at estateplanninglive.com. Jonathan Kraus, Tommy Clifford back, dedicating a couple segments here to the purchase of Twitter by Elon Musk, who will now be taking it private instead of being a publicly traded corporation. And Tommy, I said we wanted to get back to focusing here on what changes we might see on the app itself. And I know that Elon conducted a few polls out there as to what people might want to see on Twitter while he was just a shareholder. And what do you think might be some physical changes we see? Will the long-awaited dislike button become an option?
You know, that's a great question. The dislike button is something that they just removed off of YouTube, which is interesting. You can dislike it, but it doesn't share how many times people have disliked it, so you can't see that ratio there, because I guess that was hurting people's feelings, which...
In fact, that became a term. You were getting ratioed.
That's exactly right. My buddy goes, hey, this guy's getting ratioed on YouTube. I know that they're hot on the edit button. We talked about that, so I think that's probably going to be one of the biggest things that we will see. There's also discussion about, we talked about the, back to the edit button, and I don't think the edit button is going to allow you to go back and edit things once it gets sent around the horn. Once you get retweeted or someone's going to quote that, then you can't edit it.
Yeah.
But if you sent it out and you want to fix it within a certain timetable, they are also thinking about just making it to the blue customers first, which is Twitter's kind of paid grade of Twitter, which I don't subscribe to.
Okay.
But
now that's different from the blue check marks.
That is correct. Blue check mark, which I am not a blue check mark. Those people are verified so that you know it's not somebody who's trying to impersonate you. I don't know why anyone would want it. Actually, last night someone impersonated me on Instagram. I had all kinds of messages telling me that someone was trying to sell them grant money, that I was trying to sell people grant money.
Good job, Tommy.
I know. Hopefully they got everything they wanted. And
I always suspected you were a Nigerian prince.
Goodness gracious. There's a lot to say on that topic.
Maybe you weren't trying to befriend the scammers.
Right. No, that's right. But they just took my identity, took my beautiful picture, my mug, and my beautiful daughter, and started asking some of my friends for it, and it got shut down quickly. So thankfully, as far as changes to Twitter, I mean, even though President Trump said he wouldn't come back if he was invited back, so that's interesting. So that was I know there's a lot of people who were thinking, hey, that's great, President Trump's going to come back, and we'll start tweeting again. It doesn't look like that's going to happen, at least based on what he said last night.
Well, remember, he and his son started their own social media platform that has been highly successful. The name of it is I don't even know.
Highly successful. Just because this goes back to what we were talking about previously, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I don't like the idea of starting your own thing because then it's an echo chamber. Nobody wants to go. Twitter wouldn't be fun if it was all the same people. All the blue-eyed people, all the redheads. It wouldn't work. The diversity, the opinion, I think that's what makes that platform work.
I don't know if it's an actual term, but I use this lovingly, I hate follow some people. Because I like to keep an eye on what's going on.
Oh, absolutely.
With people who have a completely different idea of the way that this country should operate from me.
Oh,
because if you don't know what they're doing, they're going to catch you by surprise.
As soon as I knew that we were going to be working together, I said, I got to follow this guy and see what kind of horribleness, and that's probably why I got blocked. What kind of hate is this guy spewing? No, you're absolutely correct, because I want to know what the other side is saying. I want to keep the term "keep your ear to the railroad track." What are you looking for? You're looking for the railroad, and you obviously don't want to be there when it crosses, but you want to keep yourself in the know, and that's exactly true. That's why, I do it too. I have plenty of people I follow that I don't agree with, but I want to understand what they're saying.
And the amazing thing is, you can choose not to interact with them.
Correct.
You can read their post. Doesn't mean you're required to reply to something on it.
Correct. You can just, and that's the whole thing. A lot of people feel that you have to comment on it. No. Just scroll. Just scroll by. Just go look at it. Go back.
Need to keep an eye on that.
That's right. Just scroll on by. Don't beat yourself up. Just scroll on by.
I'm on it right now, and I'm trying to find some of the people that I follow just because they're the exact opposite of me in their thoughts. But again, just need to keep an eye on them.
Oh, absolutely. And someone will say, "Hey, are you worried about this?" No, I'm not going to not enough to keep both eyes on it, but I have one eye on it. That's what you got to do, and that's what I love about Twitter. Is you can just follow that person. You can go, hey, what have they said? What value are they adding to the world? Okay, good. They're adding no value. Exactly what I thought, but here's the value here's what I'm gleaning out of it. 30, 40 seconds worth. Okay, now I know where they stand. It's not like it was any news flash, but I can see it, and sometimes it's worth a screenshot because oh, that's not going to age well, and they're going to pull that down, and there's lots of commentaries and commentators and journalists. That's kind of fun to screenshot what they say and see how well that comes to pass. What's going to happen with that regard?
One more break here this hour, and then we'll wrap things up with what would be the alternatives for those who have already said we are leaving Twitter and we're never coming back. That's next on Cross and Company.
And I am the
cheap lending on the survey.
Twitter, what's the alternative? Where are they gonna go, to Canada?
Home values have really skyrocketed. And
Is there
we
Canadian
think
Twitter?
that now would be the time to take a look at your home equity. Having a home equity line in place will always be there for you in case of the rainy day, or you want to start up that business, or purchase that car that you never thought was going to come for sale. To be able to have that security blanket is really critical in someone's life cycle.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
Oops.
We are back, and it's time to lace up your walking or running shoes as we team up with the American Cancer Society to celebrate the 40th annual Soul Burner
David
5K
Hope,
Walk
does anyone else
presented by ThedaCare on Saturday,
seeing their
May
Twitter
7th at
followers
City Park in
drop?
Appleton.
Okay,
Join other
good.
cancer fighters and
Ha!
running enthusiasts as we raise
Now we got the conspiracy theories coming out from the people who decry conspiracy theories. Fantastic. Yeah, he's one of my hate follows as well.
Run, virtual walk run, kids activities, kids fun run, and
I wanna see,
visit
has my,
soulburner.org to register and
As
to
my
get more
Twitter followers
information.
follow, let's see here.
Shop Woodward Radio Group's big deals and save up to 30% every day on gift cards and certificates to local businesses featuring home and garden, automotive, gifts, food and beverage, services, travel, entertainment, and more. Check back often for our hot deal of the week featuring a deep discount of up to 50% off. Shop local and save today. Click on the big deals button at WHBY.com. Exclusions apply. See online store for
No,
details.
136,000, so I still have.
Nemus South
You have
Side
136,000
Market.
Twitter
Not
followers?
familiar by now. Nemus is a family-owned and operated
I have
meat and
500.
fish market located on the
And that's
south
all I
side
need.
of Appleton. Nemus
Because
offers
I am
a full
here
line of
more
craft beer, wine, and liquor, and can meet all
for the
your entertainment
news
needs.
sources
Each
than I
piece of
am
food
for the
that
actual
passes through
interaction.
the doors at Nemus is guaranteed to be top quality. And every
I used to be all about the
single
interaction. I used to
location
spend
throughout the US.
hours on it, scrolling, interacting, but then
Visit
it just got too much.
Nemus.com or stop by 2121 South Oneida Street
Then I kinda-
in Appleton.
My followers just kind of blew up after people thought I was really special.
One
And,
step, two step, three step, four. No, that is not a new set of dance moves. It's a reminder that now is the time to buy and start applying Scott's best four-step program from Karsten's Ace Hardware of Tacona, Ace Hardware of Appleton, and Kids at Trial Ace Hardware of Appleton and Bonanza. With 4 steps to cover the entire growing season and specific formulations for each part of the year, the Scott's program has a long history of helping lawns in the Fox Valley look their best. Combine the best products with the knowledgeable folks at Ace and you have a winning combination that is sure to make you the envy of the neighborhood. Being trained directly by Scott's, your local Ace dealer can also help you with many other lawn and garden questions as well. Make 2022 the year to make your lawn the envy of the neighborhood.
So be sure to visit your neighbors locally at
Carson's Ace Hardware in Kakana.
Kids and File Ace in Appleton and Menasha.
And Ace Hardware of Appleton.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Helpful hardware, folks.
Shop Woodward Radio Group's big deals and save up to 30% every day on gift cards and certificates to local businesses featuring home and garden, automotive, gifts, food and beverage, services, travel, entertainment, and more. Check back often for our hot deal of the week featuring a deep discount of up to 50% off. Shop local and save today. Click on the big deals button at WHBY.com. Exclusions apply. See online store for
I'm looking at what my
details.
first tweet was.
Back on Kraus and Company, a couple of minutes here before the top of the hour. By the way, joining us at about 10:10 this morning will be Amy Albright with the Oshkosh Convention and Visitors Bureau. We're going to talk about some of the spring events coming up in O-Town, and that will be at 10:10 this morning here on Kraus and Company. In the meantime, Tommy Clifford joining us here as usual on Tuesdays as my guest co-host. And I mentioned in passing that the Trump family set up their own social media platform. It's called Truth Social. Truth Social. I do not know how many users it
I do
currently
not either.
has.
I am not on Truth Social. I might have checked it out, but that's not something that's not where I want to hang out. That's for sure.
You also had Rumble, which is considered to be a quote-unquote conservative form of social media. What are the options then for those who were all going to Twitter yesterday to announce that they would no longer be using Twitter because Elon Musk is purchasing Twitter? Where are they going?
I don't know where they're going. That's a great question. I mean, everybody talks. Hey, if this happens, I'm going to move. If this happens, I'm going to do this. Just do it. I don't really care. What are they going to do? I don't know. I don't think they're gonna leave Twitter, because if you go someplace else, you're just gonna be yelling into a vacuum. People like that wanna be heard. They want to watch, they want to comment, they can't help themselves. They're sitting in the bushes, waiting for somebody to quote unquote screw up so that they can spring, gotcha, gotcha. You know, they're gonna screenshot it, they're gonna, you know, Karen doesn't work well by herself. Karen wouldn't be really great in a golf match with a muzzle, because Karen has to speak, it has to complain. So that's a really good thing. You're not gonna go on Pinterest, because all you're seeing is pictures. Instagram's probably not very fun. Twitter's where they're gonna hang out. They say they're gonna go someplace else, but like you said, all these other avenues, I mean, there's no liberal avenues that are staying online. You know, all the liberal shows and avenues that I know of are going offline. So I don't think they're gonna go anywhere. They're gonna do nothing. They're just gonna complain that they're gonna do something, and then when they're gonna be pressed about it, they're not gonna do anything.
So they're joining all the celebrities who said they were moving to Canada when Donald Trump was elected president.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
The mass exodus to Canada under Justin Trudeau, because that is so much more fun. That is really what you wanna be.
By the way, it appears that, what do we have here? About 600,000 people use Truth Social. And according to Business Insider, in an article published this month, it's like a conservative ghost town that's been overrun by bots. So you basically have computers yelling at each other on that platform.
No fun whatsoever. None.
What would you think about a split of Twitter? And you had red Twitter and blue Twitter. And you could go onto blue Twitter and never hear from anybody who didn't agree with this, that didn't agree with you, and the same with red Twitter.
That seems horrible.
It does.
That
but
just seems horrible. It's
that
like an
is what
echo
the
chamber.
market is demanding, isn't it?
That just seems terrible. Well, no. I don't want any part of that. I really don't. I don't want to be isolated in that way. I think that's a terrible idea. Red Twitter, you know, you take the red pill or the blue pill. No. Why can't we get along? That's the whole part. Why can't we get along? It's okay to disagree with someone. There's plenty of people I disagree with. There's plenty of people, you know, people should be happy. Elon Musk is really, I mean, he's from South Africa. He is an African. He owns this company now. People should be thrilled to see what's going on, but they're not.
Thank you for again bringing up another point I'll be having in my 2 cents later on the show. Thank
I
you.
didn't, and
That's
I haven't
fantastic.
read it. To be honest, I haven't read it. So this is any.
Obviously, you don't need to read it. It's making great points left and right. Let's take a break. When we come back, Amy Albright from Visit Oshkosh will be joining us, talking about some of the spring events, if spring ever arrives. By the way, saw from our friends at Action 2 News, First Alert Weather, that their cam showing downtown Manitowoc, there was snow flurries.
Oh yes, I see it. I see it going across the screen up there. Snow. Welcome. Remember what happened? 4 years ago? We got 36 inches in 2018. I remember that vividly on College Avenue. Holy cow!
That snowstorm keeps getting bigger and bigger.
No, I have pictures. I have pictures,
Okay.
and I will.
I don't think it was 36 inches. I remember it was closer to 18.
I have pictures.
Okay. We'll take a break. When we come back, more Krause and Company here on WHBY.
It might be getting bigger and bigger, but I have pictures.
Thankfully, there's Valpak. For 50 years, our famous blue envelope has been helping small businesses in your neighborhood grow and customers like you save.
There's only one thing better than a good round of golf. That's a good round of golf while saving money with the 2022 Valpak Golf Guide. That's right. Check your mailbox for the familiar blue Valpak envelope with this year's golf guide that is full of great deals on rounds of golf, golf lessons, and equipment. It's the Valpak Golf Guide coming to your
Jonathan?
mailbox soon.
Yep.
The end of my drive. That's the end of my driveway.
All right, so WFRV, Channel 5.
Yes.
Many areas in northeast Wisconsin recorded snowfall totals ranging from 15 to 35 inches. Stiles got 30 and a half. Appleton got 21.2.
Okay.
On air,
Oshkosh, we got
WHBY.com.
18. Nina got a foot. Two Rivers got 11 inches. Swamico got 25.5 inches.
Join the attorneys at Hooper Law Office for a free interactive educational webinar series from the comfort of your own home. Inspired by their popular Wills versus Trust seminars, this series gives participants the opportunity to ask questions.
There was a bullseye in western Oconto County
Session will take place at noon on Wednesday, April
that
27th.
got
The topic
the
of this
most
session is
snow.
the
That was
secure
greater than
entrance to
36
your estate
inches.
plan. Register at stateplanninglive.com. All registered participants will receive complimentary educational materials and have an opportunity to ask questions during the session. Register today. The first 50 registrants will receive a free copy of Hooper Law Office's book.
At least that came on a weekend too. What a mess out of it was during the week. Oh.
Register today at estateplanninglive.com.
A touch of Americana each and every weeknight at 9. It's Our American Stories on WHBY.
You have to remember that
Kimberly Appleton, Oshkosh.
Elon Musk is a South African and a white South African.
Does that make
And
any difference?
His family made their money in the apartheid.
Does that make
era.
any difference, though?
It does to a lot of people. That is
But
dirty
if
money.
Someone said, okay.
Dirty money.
But if I say that he's an African, he is absolutely, that's a minority-owned company. Yes, there are a lot of people.
And his mother was Canadian.
He's a true African American. He was born there.
I shall be back. Gotta unload some tea. Actually, we need to get more tea too.
Unload and reload.
Yes.
Critics of the policy say it forces asylum seekers to stay in dangerous camps in Mexican border towns. Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
A new round of shuttle diplomacy for the UN Secretary General as Russia pounds dozens of more targets in Ukraine. First up, Moscow for Antonio Guterres.
We are extremely interested in finding ways to create the conditions for effective dialogue, create the conditions for a ceasefire as soon as possible, create the conditions for a peaceful solution.
Russia's foreign minister told him the country is ready to cooperate to alleviate the plight of civilians in Ukraine. Later, the UN chief meets with Ukraine's president in Kyiv. The Biden administration's pushing for wider availability of a COVID-19 antiviral pill to be taken to treat the virus. CBS's Dr. David Agus.
The notion that they go to a pharmacy within 30 minutes, start a pill to fight the virus is really powerful, and I think is what's going to get us out of the COVID-19 pandemic we're in now and allow us to live with the virus.
In a newly released video from New Mexico investigators, we're hearing what Alec Baldwin told them right after the deadly gunfire on his movie set last year.
I should have got a cold gun with no rounds inside or dummy rounds, cosmetic rounds, no flash. I take the gun out slowly, I turn, I cock the pistol, bang, it goes over, she hits the ground, she goes down.
Baldwin pulled the gun, but says he never pulled the trigger. Ballistics and forensic results have yet to come in from the FBI. The parents of a 14-year-old boy who fell to his death from a Florida amusement park ride are suing its owner, maker, and others, claiming negligence. The buzz on Twitter is about Twitter and how it might change under Elon Musk. The world's richest man says he's all about free speech and fewer controls. But David Green of the Electronic Frontier Foundation says the path ahead could be bumpy.
What it doesn't mean is not moderating content, right? So no matter how many platforms have come before and say we're going to be the free speech platform, they all moderate content. They all, even if they don't want to, they find that.
Calling an audible amount of tea.
Uh-oh. This is CBS News.
There's always something new under the sun. CBS Mornings, weekdays on CBS.
Mother's Day is on the way, and WHBY is featuring some of Mom's favorite things. Listen weekdays from 11 to 1 to Focus Fox Valley with Haley Tenpass for a chance to win a gift that any mom is sure to love. Mom's Favorite Things with North Star Mohican Casino, Trisha's Treasures, KK Sew and Vac, Palmas Pub, Nema's Southside Market, and WHBY.
Plan an evening out that you or your whole family can enjoy. Hi, this is Jan from the Cup of Joy in Green Bay, and I'm inviting you to a music venue that presents family-friendly entertainment for all ages every Friday and Saturday night. We're located at 525 North Taylor Street on the west side of Green Bay, right off of Highway 41. Find a full listing of shows at cupojoy.com.
Oh, I'm sure this is an intelligent discussion on Elon Musk and Twitter taking place behind you on the TV.
Good morning, it's 10:04. I'm Carol Patrici. News is brought to you by Hooper's Law Office. Authorities released more information on a body that was found in Lake Winnebago over the weekend. Fond du Lac County Sheriff's officials say initial findings from an autopsy show no signs of injury or trauma. No foul play is suspected, and the public is not believed to be in any danger. The victim,
Can you believe what that guy says?
Fond du Lac man, was
He needs to
found
be banned,
fully
or you can
submerged
just not
in the
follow
water,
him.
along
But then
with
other people are hearing him. Other people can't hear that man.
Family is notified and further investigation is conducted. A vigil was held last night in Chippewa Falls for the 10-year-old girl found dead in a wooded area yesterday morning. Lily Peters' father reported her missing the night before after she didn't return from her aunt's house. Chippewa Falls Police Chief Matthew Kelm calls the girl's death a homicide. Kelm says people in the area should remain vigilant and call the tip line set up to report suspicious activity. He thinks the public could be in danger.
Well, as you can imagine, first responders are tremendously impacted by anything that impacts one of our children. It is very difficult for them and the investigators.
In the meantime, Chippewa Falls School District administrators are recommending that parents pick up and drop off their children from school while the homicide investigation continues. Nita police are looking for the person that dumped a litter of puppies on the street. 7 young canines were found inside a plastic tote near a sidewalk in a residential area of the city Sunday night. Those living in the area did not recognize the puppies. They've been taken to the Nina Animal Shelter.
I've never seen those
Anyone
dogs
with
before in my
information
life.
on their owner should contact Nina Police. The state commits to building a new observation tower in our Potawatomi State Park. The current tower was closed to the public in 2018 because it wasn't in good condition. The Secretary Preston Cole says the historic tower serves as a purpose. We're part.
Our current tower is currently showing its age. We recognize the importance of observation. We heard from people interested in historic preservation, some of whom led the effort to add the tower to the state's national.
Hi, I'm looking for Amy Albright, please. It's Jonathan Krause from WHBY Radio. Yeah. Hold music. Very important choice for businesses. Hey, Amy, it's Jonathan at WHBY. Still good for our interview? I'm doing great. I have your email here with the items that we can talk about. So we'll probably go a couple of segments, about 20 minutes total. Is that okay? All right, sounds good. Hold on the line. The next time you hear me talking to you, we're live on the air.
27th. The topic of this session is the Secure app in your estate plan. Register at estateplanninglive.com. All registered participants will receive complimentary educational materials and have an opportunity to ask questions during the session. Register today. The first 50 registrants will receive a free copy of Hooper Law Office's book, Your Life, Your Legacy 2, Protecting Those You Love. Register today at estateplanninglive.com.
Now, first alert weather on WHBY.
We've got cloudy skies again. Scattered rain and snow showers. Cool for late April. High of only 40 degrees. Tonight, snappy cold. A low of 25.
Why are you laughing?
Partly cloudy.
The way his tone.
Mostly sunny.
Steve's tone on the forecast.
47. From the WBAY First Alert Weather Center.
Even Steve sounds defeated by the weather. He makes a living with it. Cold again. Right now, it's cloudy and 34 at the Myron Construction Studio at WHBY.
Save lives. Not since World War II have we been called to come together to protect
I love
humanity's
spring.
future.
Spring is so
The
beautiful. It's
nation's
my favorite
top
time of the
healthcare
year.
organizations are calling to protect people's health. If we do this now, we protect ourselves.
But then there's a company
our
working on
loved
another
ones, and
COVID
every
pill.
other
That's
person
what we
around the
need.
world.
Don't we need something else?
We aren't using the COVID pills we have.
Right. What energy does?
COVID-19 vaccines.
The Pfizer stock's going to drop.
Please visit ourshottosavelives.org.
Your happiest spring starts with Lowe's because SpringFest
Does anyone listen to these talking heads?
everything you need to celebrate the season.
They get 500,000 people every day.
Where's Whoopi?
Right now, you can get free
free basic install via rebate with purchase of select
miss
items
Whoopi.
$5.99 or more. We're celebrating
Oh, she's back from her
fun
band.
and more savings. Create a season full of happiness at Lowe's. Homes to any budget, home to any possibility. Excludes Connecticut and Rhode Island. Appliance offer restrictions and other fees may apply. See store for details while supplies last.
Kraus and Company is brought to you by Hooper Law Office. Find their offices in Appleton, Green Bay, and Oshkosh, or online at hooperlawoffice.com. For your elder law and estate planning needs, Hooper Law Office, providing a pathway to your legacy. Welcome to the 10 o'clock hour of Kraus and Company. Jonathan Kraus, Tommy Clifford with you. And Tommy, I'm afraid we have to break away from Twitter talk and find out what's going on in the Oshkosh area for events in the next couple of weeks. And to do that is the director of Visit Oshkosh, Amy Albright. And first off, Amy, thanks for joining us here this morning on Kraus and Company. Now, when we were exchanging messages this morning, you asked if I called you for expert analysis of the Johnny Depp trial. I know you don't do a lot there in the office. Are you watching it regularly during the day? Oh, okay. So you watch it for the same reason my wife watches the Real Housewives. It makes her feel better about her life. Yeah, there we go. Shocker. All right, so let's get into some of the stuff that's going on around the area. And by the way, happy National Pretzel Day. Cheese or mustard? Yep. Yes. They are. So for you, is it cheese or mustard? I am strictly cheese.
Cheese only. I can't
Yep.
do mustard.
Good call, Tommy.
No.
It's 2-1. Cheese wins. All right, so let's talk about something that is coming up this weekend, and hopefully you've been training for it. It's the Oshkosh Oshkosh Marathon, or half marathon, excuse me. And when is that? And where will everyone be starting this year's run? One of the neat things about that half marathon, as you mentioned, is it does take or make use of both the Riverwalk and the Wabash Trail, which are available in Oshkosh. So it's not one of those where you're just running on streets and sidewalks. You get a little bit of nice view as well. Biking last weekend, I'm sure it was fun in one direction, not so much fun in the other direction. Yeah. Now, in addition to the half marathon, there are also some shorter races and even a kids option. What do they have planned? And this is all sponsored by Runaway Shoes. You can go to their website, runawayshoes.net, for some last-minute registration. But again, hopefully you've been training for a half marathon and not think you're just going to show up and run. We're talking with Amy Albright from Visit Oshkosh, the Oshkosh Convention and Visitors Bureau. And another event coming up this weekend is for those who are a little less active and are collectors of beer items, and not so much the beer itself, but the beer items, all the marketing materials and stuff that were used for service in bars. Where's that going to be held? We've had entire books written about the Oshkosh brewing tradition. I think Inky used to do those, didn't he? Inky Youngworth? Yeah. My great-grandmother owned a bar in the Oconto area, so my dad has a lot of old hams and Pabst stuff. I am more partial to Leinenkugel, so the basement man cave has a Leinie's theme to it.
Man cave.
Yeah. Hopefully someday somebody will want to take that off my hands. I don't know what I'm going to do with 100 pint glasses with Leinie's logos on them.
Those days are gone. You're not.
I hope so. My
Facebook
wife hopes so
Marketplace.
too. She'd love to get rid of it, I'm sure. All right, now we'll switch gears here and talk a little bit about a comedy show that's coming to Oshkosh this weekend. Yep, it is. Amy Albright joining us from Visit Oshkosh here, and you can find all of these events at visitoshkosh.com. So we've covered things that are coming to town this weekend. Next weekend, big one for families as Menominee Park Zoo opens for the season. and not only bear, but foxes as well. So 2 new displays going in, thanks to donations for the Zoological Society. And the the nice thing about the Menominee Park Zoo, and Mark Roloff mentions this in an audio cover we'll be using for our news story here this afternoon on previewing this vote tonight, is that the focus has become more native animals to Wisconsin, as opposed to bringing in very exotic things that tend to be very expensive and difficult to replace. When you have bears and eagles and foxes and an otter, it's all stuff that you could see out in the wild, but this is an opportunity to get up a lot closer to it here in Wisconsin. There's just that 1 week in May when it's not that pleasant over there. We won't get into that though. Stay as far away from the lakeshore as possible. All right, Amy, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about a few things a little bit farther out on the calendar in Oshkosh. You're listening to Kraus and Company on WHBY. Nothing like fighting 10 billion lake flies.
Lake flies. That's like you don't go on Waverly Beach either.
No.
Loaders feature articulated telescopic wheel loaders, handles, and stand-on mini skid steers. Giant has the perfect machine for landscaping, tree care, snow removal.
There's one time Michelle and I decided we were going to have a barbecue in the park. I think we were still living in the apartment yet at the time. And we hadn't seen many lake flies yet. And it's usually right around Mother's Day weekend that they have the huge hatch. So we went to the park, and it was kind of a westerly wind. And there were like, you'd see a few, 10, 15 of them kind of swarming around. And then the wind shifted out of the southeast.
Yep.
And clouds just descended upon the park. People were sprinting for their cars, covering their mouths and their eyes, because it was just a cloud that came onshore. Nothing but bugs.
Yeah, you drive down to Waverly, you go drive down by Brighton Beach, and the homes, you go, wow, black, that's an interesting look. No, that's the flies.
Then they all die, and then they fall onto your driveway, and they leave these little stains.
Correct.
On the concrete.
Gotta get the power wash or whatever.
A deposit certificate special of 2% APY for 34 months.
And where we lived in that apartment, we had bats in our trees. And for that 1 week, the bats were just constantly flying, eating all those bugs on the wing. Just flying into the cloud.
Financial value to you, our member owners. So if you want the best rates on your loans, the best rates on your deposits, come to the best of the best. CoVantage Credit Union, and earn 2% APY on this 34-month deposit certificate special with only $1,000 minimum deposit. You step into more cash at CoVantage Credit Union. See CoVantageCU.org for a branch near you. Federally insured by CUA.
One step, two step, three step, four. No, that is not a new set of dance moves. It's a reminder that now is the time to buy and start applying Scott's best four-step program from Karsten's Ace Hardware of Kaukauna, Ace Hardware of Appleton, and Kitchen Plow Ace Hardware of Appleton and Menasha. With 4 steps to cover the entire growing season and specific formulations for each part of the year, the Scott's program has a long history of helping lawns in the Fox Valley look their best. Combine the best products with the knowledgeable folks at Ace, and you have a winning combination that is sure to make you the envy of the neighborhood. Being trained directly by Scott's, your local Ace dealer can also help you with many other lawn and garden questions as well. Make 2022 the year to make your lawn the envy of the neighborhood.
Next to Hooper. This is the next break.
Kitchen Plow Ace in Appleton and Menasha. And Ace Hardware of Appleton.
this name. Tussler Law, Ron Tussler, Appleton's award-winning attorney.
I'm Ron Tussler. I have a one-attorney firm. If you hire me, you'll work with me. Not someone's secretary or associate, me. That's local personal service to you. I offer free initial consultation. That means you can call me at 749-0400 and we'll talk about your case for free.
Ron Tussler, Appleton's award-winning attorney.
Rush, nice. Well done.
I have a couple of rushes in here. Back on Krause & Company here on WHBY. That's the first of the new bumpers that Tommy's enjoyed. You're a Rush fan as well, apparently.
I am a Rush fan. I've lost track how many times I've seen them.
Really? I saw them twice. I
I've
was
seen
very
them
lucky on
probably close to 8 or 9 times.
Fantastic.
Oh,
right.
Well, I grew up in Rochester, New York, so they're right across the pond there.
Sure.
And I think I was a Rush fan before it was glamorous.
So you were an early adopter.
Very early adopter.
Let's jump back onto the Settlers Bank phone line where we are joined by Amy Albright, Executive Director of Visit Oshkosh, the Convention and Visitors Bureau. And we talked about some stuff coming up this weekend and then the opening of Menominee Park Zoo next weekend. Let's look ahead to Mother's Day weekend and what's going on at the Payne. And that is a national draw. You get people that come from all over the country to sell their wares. Most of it focused on, your own personal garden, yard displays, things like that. So always a good time. Yeah, and hopefully we'll be lower 50s for temperatures by that time. Yeah. Amy Albright from Visit Oshkosh joining us today. Let's take a look out at some of the things we look forward to for the summer. And Life Fest is back at the Sunnyview Expo Center. I always want to say the Winnebago County Fairgrounds, but that's not its name. Sunnyview Expo Center again, coming up in early July. Yep. Yeah, appreciate that. All right. Yeah, we look forward to, by that time, we should be well into the 70s, end of July. Still, maybe one night there might be a chance of some flurries. But
Put my snowblower away by July.
all right. And then, okay, Amy, ready for a few uncomfortable questions? Ford Live Park. You hearing anything going on this year for there?
Ooh.
Any shows? Yep. You have to be encouraged that the new promoters, since the Oshkosh Arena came out of bankruptcy, have been far more aggressive in booking events at the arena itself. Do you see that as being a more successful model than previous attempts to get people in there? The exact opposite of the previous show.
The Trinity of Terror. Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
And then finally, how are things with the downtown convention center? Are you seeing any rebound in terms of bookings and events? Well, it was a full house for Men Who Cook back in February, so that was fantastic. Amy Albright from Visit Oshkosh, thank you very much for making some time today. We'll talk to you again in a couple months. You too. Amy Albright from Visit Oshkosh. You can go to their website, visitoshkosh.com, to get the complete list of events going on in the Oshkosh area. We'll take a break, finish things up with Tommy Clifford here. Yet to come, Haley Tenpass joins us with a preview of Focus Fox Valley and my 2 cents as well. All to come on Carlson Company on HBY.
A lot of insane out there. So take it from Wisconsin's best
Ford
jammers,
Field, you
bloggers,
had to
and
bring that up.
Ford Live Park.
No matter how many wheels you roll, because you can't let the pack
That whole thing,
riding your back.
that could have been handled so much better.
Drive sober or get
So much better.
Are you talking about the previous group in there that was putting on Rock USA and Country USA?
Let's
Or
sell,
are you
let's
talking
sell
about the new
tickets
guys
up,
who come in?
let's sell tickets up to like a week before we announce that we're canceling and no
Yes.
refunds.
Yes.
That could have been handled so much better.
The
That left
the
that left
issue
a
as to
bad
why
taste.
there were no shows there last year is because the site itself for the concerts, if you went there, that's owned by one person. That big wide driveway with the waterfall and the rock formation,
Yeah.
that's owned by a different person.
So you're landlocked. You can't get one person can't get the
And
other person's place.
the side road property that fronts along that you could come in on the second driveway to the camping area, that was owned by a third different person. And the new promoter could not reach agreements with the other two on getting the access easement. And we heard, did not report, but we heard that the one on the frontage road wanted $600,000 a year to use the driveway
Big deals and save up to 30% every day on
for 2 events.
certificates to local businesses featuring home and yard, automotive, gifts, food and beverage, services.
How much can you get? How much do you get?
Check back often for our hot deal of the week, featuring a deep discount of up to 50%
I
off.
wonder how much those 2 events
And
gross.
save today. Click on the big deals.
Not enough for whatever Star Show presents or Star Show. No, Star Show was the original name, and then the Sun took over and changed the
Most
name.
people who have CPAP machines.
Hyper Vibe.
Probably smart to change the name.
And that's not right. Maybe you're just not a big fan of the machine and the mask.
Then we found out that the guy who ran Hyper Vibe into the ground and defaulted on all those ticket sales and declared bankruptcy, the new promoter that came in hired him to do local work for them.
Oh, geez Louise. Do they think that people don't talk? Do they think?
Don't be surprised if you get plugged into a place that has.
Well, WHBY talks.
The option that you're gonna get, whether you like it or not. You know, that and having all effective options for folks who suffer with these issues.
Just can't get over the fact that they
Meaning we
screwed all
can
those
find
people.
the right combination of things that work for you. It's not taking one ingredient and throwing it at you. It's taking the right.
And I get when you sign these acts, I mean they have
for you, putting it together.
Yeah, they have
and
contracts
making
too.
sure it's working for you.
Yep. Well, it was a game of chicken. Who would blink first? The venue to say we can't host you, or the artist to say we aren't coming because of COVID? Because if they
the
said we're
artists
not
say
coming,
coming, they don't have
then
to
you don't
pay.
have to pay them. But as long as they kept saying, hey, we're coming. Carlson Company is brought to you by Hooper Law Office. Call Peter Harbach and Sarah Collins at 920-250-9959 for your elder law and estate planning needs. Hooper Law Office, providing a pathway to your legacy. Sign up for their free weekly seminars via video conference at estateplanninglive.com. Tommy Clifford joining us here at Tuesdays with Tommy, although next Tuesday will be Tommy Less, as you're abandoning me for Dallas, Texas.
I am.
Instead.
I apologize. I could do it, but I can't be consistent, so I'm just gonna say no. I wanna be here for all the fun and frolic. It's, being a half participant isn't very fun.
I know that you really, really wanted to talk about this. We're going to get to this in this short segment, and that is the demise of CNN Plus.
Oh my goodness gracious! This is a horrific train wreck that we've watched in slow motion. With, I don't even understand it. I mean, we've seen these high-powered broadcasters leave probably multi-million-dollar contracts to come to. It's like the second coming, and then $300 million in money was dropped into this to get this ready, and it's gonna last a whole 31 days.
Yep.
I'm stunned. I'm completely stunned, and I don't want to dance on the grave of this, but I kind of do. I'm just kind of happy. I'm kind of, CNN reaped what it sowed, and there was people that came in, and I shook my head and I talked to my brother. I go, Andy, this isn't going to go well. This isn't going to go well. This isn't. I mean, why did they think that people were going to pay extra to view their shows when people wouldn't tune in normally when it was free or part of the cable package? That didn't make sense. And then they went, they started selling, monthly subscriptions at, $10 a month and something. And then by noon that day, that it dropped it to half price. And I said, oh boy, this is just, and then it just, everything went in slow motion, and everything that you thought was gonna happen, happened, and they abandoned the whole thing. I don't get it. And yesterday, one of the anchors, and bless his soul, it's too early to tell whether this was a success or a failure. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, really? Do you listen to yourself speak? Do you understand what's going on here?
That's the problem with having to fill streaming content. Sometimes you don't think about what you're saying. You mentioned that you feel sorry for the anchors, the show hosts. I feel sorry for the people who may have left other news rooms.
Right, there's 300
come to
people worth of
CNN
support
with this
staff.
promise that, boy, we're going to have this great streaming.
Moved your families, uprooted everything to come to Atlanta, Georgia, the land of milk and honey and awesome drivers and Coca-Cola, and now...
And Josh Duclo now.
That's correct, Josh Duclo in Atlanta, Georgia. Love Josh. Holla, Josh. And then this happened. Terrible, terrible, terrible. That's a lot of pain and suffering all wrapped up into one. That's just, I don't get it.
You sent along this USA Today article by Chris Woodyard, and he mentions that there are 3 lessons we've learned. One, just creating a streaming channel, even one with a well-known name, is no guarantee of success.
Correct. Lesson
2, the streaming market will continue to grow, but with so many players in the pot at this point, some will struggle to find a place with viewers. And then lesson 3, and this is most important, content is still king. To succeed, a content channel needs to retain subscribers with original, talked about exclusive shows, movies or specials, backed by a deep reserve of older, popular content that can be aired again and again to tide the viewers over between the big hits.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. I mean, even Netflix has been taking a beating. Netflix has lost, 200,000 subscribers, and one of their first net subscriber losses in a decade. So there's a lot of decisions that people have to make. And at this point, if you don't have good content, it's not going to be if we build it, they will come, because clearly they built it and they didn't come, and they said it was better to shut down now at $300 million loss than it was to continue going forward. I'm going to keep bringing that up because that just seems so horrific. I mean, we talk about, Elon Musk and his, $44 billion, $300 million. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for anybody to put in, and now to shut that down after 30 days. Wow.
And it takes away from the other operations. Now, the parent company of CNN is ultimately going to take the hit, but it will take away from some of the resources that CNN would have had.
Well, it's a huge distraction. It's a huge black eye. Hey, if you guys can't do this right, why would we go with you on this? It makes the advertisers look stupid. Well, why'd you advertise on that? They were only the whole thing all the way around. It's just it's an abomination.
I'm sorry, wouldn't streaming infer that there is no advertising?
Well, see, that's not necessarily true. I mean, you watch Hulu Plus and you pay for it, but there's still commercials.
Okay.
I mean, I watch Paramount, I pay X amount of dollars a month, and I can't watch a whole episode of Yellowstone without being interrupted. I want my Beth. I want to know what Beth is going to say. What's Rip going to do? And then they interrupt me with 45 seconds of stuff that I don't care about. I don't want to know that. I want to know Beth and Rip. That's what I want to know.
So is that show written to have commercial breaks? Because when TV stations used to show movies, full-length feature movies, you would have commercials inserted at the most awkward times.
The worst times. The flying monkeys are coming down.
Meanwhile, TV shows created cliffhangers going into commercial breaks to bring you back on the other side.
I don't think that Yellowstone was made to have commercials. Maybe it was. I don't know. That's a very good question. We should ask our Hollywood guy that. We need to get him back. That's a good.
All right, so tell you what, next time you're with me on Tuesday, we'll get in contact and he can come in and tell us true Hollywood stories.
We need true Hollywood stories from Michael Seibel. That's what we need. That would
anyway,
be outstanding.
R.I.P. CNN Plus, 31 days.
Breaks my heart.
Yeah. We'll take a break. Haley is up next, telling us what's in store for Focus Fox Valley on WHBY.
Hurry into Menards to save big money.
Okay. Also, I'm not finding my 2 cents there.
Uh-oh.
What have I done with it?
To your home with Schlag. We carry more than 200 Schlag in stock. Check out our great selection today and save with 11% off. Schlag and box sets. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through April 30th. Savings are valid rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Only Wendy's serves a better breakfast with a better biscuit. Our hot buttery breakfast biscuits are loaded with fresh cracked egg, cheese, and your choice.
Good morning.
Morning. And home Wendy's still in a buck each. So don't take a chance with those other guys. Bet your buck.
It is cold in here today. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Egg and cheese biscuits. Choose Wendy's. Choose Wendy's.
Shop Woodward Radio Group's big deals. Save up to 30% every day on gift cards and certificates to local businesses, featuring home and yard, automotive, gifts, food and beverage, services, travel,
WHBY.
entertainment, and more. Check back often for our hot deal of the week, featuring a deep discount of up to 50% off. Shop local and save today. Click on the big deals button at WHBY.com. Exclusions apply. See online store for details.
All right, I will pass that
Listen to
along.
the radio and win
Thank you so
cash
much.
with WHBY.
Bye-bye.
Prosperity Credit Union. Keywords for cash. Lock it on WHBY. Weekday mornings.
You can get a
from
Paramount
2
Plus,
and
Plus
5
subscription
p.m.
that is ad-free.
7 hours keyword.
Oh.
Then text that keyword.
I probably should know that, but-
09. Your text could win you $250. Then on Fridays, your text could win you $1,000.
Paramount Plus is ad-free.
Keywords for cash. With Prosperity Credit
I guess we're
Union.
doing it off the computer today.
Complete details of the contest rules.
You just got a call from someone wanting to comment that you can get Paramount Plus without ads.
Okay.
Because Springfest is happening now to help get
So what's interesting is you can't get access to it. Then you have to pay to get access to it with the ads. You have to pay more to access it without ads.
We're celebrating spring with more fun and more savings.
Okay, so apparently there's an essential and a premium plan.
Again, the non-cord cutters continue to look good.
Excludes Connecticut and Rhode Island. Appliance offer restrictions and other fees may apply. See store for details. While supplies
All right, who do I want to block out?
Mother's Day
Isn't
is
there
on the
information?
way, and
There's stuff that you
WHBY is
can't
featuring
get.
some of Mom's
Even if
favorite
you
things.
still have the
Listen
cord,
weekdays from 11 to 1
there's still
to
things you
Focus
can't
Fox
get.
Valley with Haley 10 Pass for a chance to win a gift that any mom is sure to love. Mom's favorite things with North Star Mohican Casino, Trisha's KK Sewing Back, Palmas
So are they still doing the code word of the day? Do they still do that? Is that
Yeah, that was at 9 o'clock.
How long does that promotion go for?
Till the end of next week.
Have we been called to come together to protect humanity?
Sponsored by Prosperity Credit Union.
That's
And you know what? I'm supposed to read a promo for that right now.
Protect people's health.
So here we go.
If we do this,
I should make Tommy read this.
ourselves,
No, you don't want me reading.
and every other person around the globe. Everyone must make it their calling to overcome the pandemic. COVID-19 vaccines
Do your part.
are
That's all I
safe
gotta say. Just
and
do your
effective.
part, please.
Please visit our shot to save
The sooner you
lives.
do your part, the sooner we have to listen to commercials.
Here we go. Listen to WHBY and win cash with Prosperity Credit Union's Keywords for Cash. Weekdays at 9 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. Listen for the keyword and text to qualify for a daily $250 cash prize. The stakes get even higher on $1,000 Fridays when your entries could score you a cool grand. Keywords for Cash with Prosperity Credit Union, Woodward Radio Group, and WHBY. Get all the info and official contest rules at WHBY.com. Tommy Clifford is off to my right as I look at the studios, the American Construction Studios. Haley 10 Pass joins us now off to my left with a preview of what's coming up on Focus Fox Valley. And before we get to that, apparently our Appleton Owl family is now doing house calls. Did you see that on our TV partner Action 2 News website?
Is it the same one?
It is.
Interesting.
Well, okay. I'm making an assumption here,
Oh.
but I'm not sure how many horned owl families are hanging out in Appleton.
You never know.
But they're on their back patio, their deck.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's very cool. Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Nature. Nature is neat.
That's awesome.
What's coming up on Focus Fox Valley today?
All right, we've got a lot going on. First, we're checking in once again with the Communities at Oshkosh North High School program. And every time I get asked to feature these students, I'm 100% on board. They are so impressive, and they are always working on something to better the community, to better an organization, and I think probably bettering themselves in the process as well. And they've got a spaghetti dinner coming up on May 5th that is going to raise funds for an organization. I'm not sure if it's pronounced Inara or INARA. Either way, it's a nonprofit that helps children impacted by conflict. And it's based in Lebanon and Turkey. So we'll learn more about the organization, what students have done so far to learn more about this organization and how they are helping to include the community in the process as well.
Years ago, I have been to a spaghetti dinner in Oshkosh North.
Yeah, it's very impressive what these kids do. So we'll have 2 high schoolers joining us here today.
Good.
Also, Imagine Fox Cities, a really important initiative that was created in 2018, if I am not mistaken, and they are digging into some data. I believe this data coming from a survey that was done about a year ago on well-being, and they are now ready to release this data and help us kind of understand how to navigate it, and also ways to kind of slice and dice it to our specific communities. Again, all centering around well-being. So we'll talk more about what that data kind of looks like and the events coming up that are helping us to better understand it. And also they are calling for artists. We mentioned a program a few weeks back about their summer artist program. They're looking to get some murals around the area, and now they're looking for artists to paint those murals. Also today we are chatting with Fox Cities Reads, and I don't know how it's been 2 months since they were last on, just announcing those books. Now we are really inching closer to the author events where the authors are coming here, one virtually, one in person, to talk about the books, kind of a Q&A opportunity. And for the first time this year, Fox Cities Reads has 2 book selections, one for adults and one more of a young adult theme as well. So, and also the books are centering around Indigenous experiences, and that's kind of the focus for this one here today. So we'll have 2 people with us with Fox Cities Reads and the book readings, and I have started There, which is written by Tommy Orange, and he is coming in person on May 12th to do an author speaking event, and I'm about a third of the way through the book.
Okay.
It's really good, but I'm taking my time because it can be heavy at times. So I am really enjoying it, but taking my time as I can. So I do encourage you, books are at your local library. They're really easy to find, and we'll talk more about Fox Cities Reads. And then finally, one more.
It's a jam-packed show.
More, yes. Mile of Music announcing some things, and we will talk more with them about what's going on this summer. Mile of Music. So that's all I can say.
Yeah, they timed that perfectly because their media avail, as we like to say in business, is at 11:15. There's no way I could get out of here and over there in time.
That's all right.
So
we'll hear more from them at 12:40.
you gave us the shortcut there. Bring them to us.
Yes, it'll be fun. So join us.
All right, and that's Haley's show, Focus Fox Valley, beginning in about 15 minutes here on WHBY. Tommy, I appreciate you coming in, and I'm glad that it was this Friday you were able to come in, and this Tuesday you were able to come in, and next Tuesday you're not. So
A lot of good things to talk about. Thank you for having me. I always look forward to my Tuesday mornings.
Enjoy your Elon Musk run Twitter from now on.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, it is time now for my 2 cents, a daily opinion feature here on Kraus and Company. And today, let's take a look at the curious case of why American liberals hate Elon Musk so much. Ever since the days of the Apollo program, the left has decried the amount of money the federal government allocated to